And my world was very paramilitary and logic based. And I felt like if I admitted to believing in manifestation and the law of attraction, people wouldn't take me seriously.
So it's all about like that feeling too, and like letting shit control you or you control it. I'm Stephanie Keith.
And I am Tara Manjakovic. And we are unapologetically outspoken.
Hey everyone, welcome to our Manifestation Motivation Monday. So, Tara, we talk a lot about the law of attraction, and I know that it's gotten to be a trendy topic in recent years, but it's been around for a really long time. And I have this theory that the elite class knows it works and has been using it for years to manifest their wealth and success and fame. And part of the reason why I've always thought that was because of the famous book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which was published in 1937. And it's based on his philosophy called the law of success. And he went around and interviewed all of the extremely successful people of the time, like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and Thomas Edison, to figure out what made them so successful. And much of what he found is exactly what we would call today the law of attraction. So it's been around and widely understood on some level with the elite class and is much more openly talked about in today's world. And I know that everyone always uses the example of Oprah, but it's such a good one because she understands manifestation on like a whole other level and is very vocal about it. And like she's talked about this for years, long before it became kind of like mainstream. So I wanted to play a clip really quick of something that she said that I thought was so good and everyone should definitely listen to.
The vibration. You can't be above or below it. It's just what I was talking about, negative energy, positive energy. In order to draw the thing to you that you want to come, you can't want it so much that you fear that you won't get it. You have to want it. So in order for me to be on your vision board, you must have put it there and then you let it go.
Yes.
And then you weren't thinking about it every day. Because you can't, it doesn't come to you that way. You have to do it and then you have to put it and then you have to meet that vibration. Prepare yourself to be there, ready when it shows.
Okay, I don't even know if you could hear that good. There was music in the background. I didn't realize. But basically what she was talking about is what a lot of people refer to as like surrendering and letting go. So she was saying, like in the whole interview, she was saying how you want to be clear on what you want, but you need to have like neutrality when it comes to the energy around it. Because if you want it so badly that you're going to be like absolutely upset when it doesn't manifest, then you actually are like repelling it because you've got that desperate energy around it. So finding that place of neutrality, and like she used the example of the vision board, which is so popular. Everyone's always talking about vision boards around the law of attraction, but she's saying put what you want on there, like use a vision board to get clear on the direction you want to go, but then let it go. Like don't obsess over it. Don't look at it every single day and cling to it, and just sort of like let it be, knowing that, all right, I got clear on what I wanted. I put it out there and now I can relax knowing that this is going to be the next level of my life. So I think that a big part of getting to that neutrality is acting as though you already have what you want and showing up as the person that already has it. Like that's what makes it a reality. It's embodying that version of you that's already in that space of knowing with certainty that they already have the thing, the goal that you want to manifest. And I think she's one of the best examples for law of attraction because of her background. So Oprah, she grew up super poor and had a really traumatic, hard childhood, had a lot of horrible things happen to her. And then she went into an industry that was dominated by men and made a path for herself when everyone told her it wouldn't happen. People told her that she wasn't a good interviewer. People criticized her weight. There was the fact that she was female, and there was all these men like Phil Donahue at the time that were the talk show hosts. She was Black. Everyone pretty much on TV that was the host was white at the time. And like there was just every excuse in the book thrown at her for why she wouldn't be successful. Yet she believed in herself anyway, and she didn't give up no matter how hard things got. And it's so funny, Tara, because I came across all these old clips of Oprah and Donald Trump, and they were like besties. He was on her show multiple times, and she even said that if he ever ran for president, she was going to vote for him. And I just thought that was hilarious because it's like the second he did run for president, her and everyone else he was friends with totally abandoned him. But speaking of that, I also have a clip from him. And I like randomly came across this clip and I was like, holy shit, he's talking about the law of attraction. And clearly he's been very successful in life. So I was like, man, like I really think that this is a thing with all these elites. So let's listen to Donald Trump and his take on manifesting what you want.
Much of success is seeing yourself as victorious. You have to see yourself. You have to really believe in yourself. And sometimes it's hard. You know, you've had failures, you've had weaknesses, you've had other things. You have to see yourself as a one-man band. Don't rely too much on other people because they'll let you down. You have to see yourself as victorious. And to be a winner, you have to think like a winner. If you don't think like a winner, it's just never going to happen.
So he's clearly talking about visualization, you know, like you better believe he visualized himself as president before he ever even ran for president, you know, and he visualized himself rebounding from bankruptcy and rebuilding his empire. And this is something that every single Olympic athlete does. Like they talk about this openly. They visualize themselves like winning the race or getting that gold medal. So I have to laugh when people, you know, laugh it off or say it's woo-woo or roll their eyes, because this is the shit that the most successful people in the world do. So we should all be paying attention and taking notes.
Yeah, what I've found really interesting during like my own law of attraction journey is being surprised by some of the people that I personally admire, who I find out they believe in the power of manifestation and they talk about it openly. And, you know, there's this misconception. We've talked about this before with the law of attraction, where sometimes people have this automatic reaction about it being woo-woo and weird. And I've openly admitted on the podcast before that this was definitely my perception when I first discovered law of attraction. And even after I became a believer, it was like a good year before I felt comfortable enough to tell people that I believed in it, because I was kind of embarrassed to talk about it for fear of like being judged or having people think I was, you know, one of those like hippie weirdos with my head in the clouds. And especially because I was a cop at the time and my world was very paramilitary and logic based. And I felt like if I admitted to believing in manifestation and the law of attraction, people wouldn't take me seriously, because that's how I had felt about people who believed in this stuff until I discovered how like truly powerful it is. So it's like when people say they're into astrology or tarot readings or moon cycles, which by the way, I totally believe in all of those things now too. But the initial reaction from people when you tell them that you believe in law of attraction is often to not take you seriously or to assume that you're like a leftist hippie liberal. So when you look up like law of attraction or manifestation videos on YouTube or online, the majority of them are like by creators with this very Zen vibe. You know, there's the music in the background with the flowing river sounds or like the tinkling bells and nature scenes and lotus flowers and whatever. And it all has this like very relaxing and calming feel. And they talk in soothing tones. And sometimes that's what I need. And other times that's just not my vibe. Like I tend to get more excited and inspired by people who speak with conviction and purpose and passion. And that's the kind of thing that fuels me. So when I started realizing that some of the very powerful entrepreneurs and successful people that I admire believe in the law of attraction, and that they're mostly people who aren't all Zen and soft-spoken, but instead are like loud and strong and outspoken about their beliefs like I am, it really resonated with me. So if you've been listening to our show for any length of time, you'll know that the person I probably admire most in this world is Andy Frisella. And not only did he build an empire from nothing, but his companies are all like super integrity based. And he believes very strongly in service and uplifting and empowering people. And he's very outspoken on his views about patriotism and trying to wake people up and save this country. But he tends to cuss a lot, and he's very loud, and he sounds angry a lot of the time. But I find that, inspiring. So being inspired by his conviction and his passion was one of the main reasons that I actually developed enough courage to leave my law enforcement career and publicly stand up for my own values and beliefs. So I'm going to play this clip from him, and it's about 3 minutes long, but damn, it's fucking powerful.
Some reason I see myself there. Okay. And when I visualize that, I used to think, and this goes for everything, I'm just painting an example of how you progress with this visualization. I used to think, okay, I'm closing my eyes, I'm thinking of it, and it could possibly happen. And what that made it very hard to see the picture clearly. What I do now is I actually understand, and this is where you get into the quantum and metaphysics. I actually understand that when I can see the picture clearly, I'm not seeing something that's fake. I'm literally seeing another point in time of my actual life. When you come to an understanding that that's what you're seeing, the ability to manifest it becomes almost instant. And it's a hard, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a hard thing to describe to someone that isn't developed to that point yet. Like when I see myself like at that house, like I know that's really,
well, you start to feel it too.
Well, yeah, no, and that's how you feel it.
Yeah.
And once you get to that level where you're seeing it and you're understanding that this is something that actually exists, now you're fucking super dangerous when it comes to your ability to manifest. And I say dangerous because it is dangerous. Because the minute you start seeing shit that doesn't vibe, that shit comes in twice as quick too. So it's something that you have to learn almost, like a firearm. That's right. Like, dude, you got to be responsible with a firearm, or people get hurt. And your ability to manifest and bring things into you is there's really nothing more dangerous than that if you're doing it wrong.
And it's almost like you become limitless.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
and, and that's why it's scary.
Yeah.
It's
No, dude. What I'm saying is, what I'm getting at here is that there's a lot of people who are fucking manifesting the negativity over and over and over and over again, and they can't understand they're fucking doing it. But you got to be aware of the game you're playing before you fucking can play the game. And the way I think about visualization and quantum realities and manifestation, and the way you should think about it, and I'm not saying this isn't a fucking opinion. This is me telling you as someone who is fucking great at this, okay? My life speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm telling you, this is no different than gravity. We can argue about gravity. You could fucking say what you think, and Dave, you could say, oh, what you think, and Sal, you could say what you think. But if we go up on the top of this motherfucking building and step off the edge, there's only one outcome that's happening, and it ain't good. And that's the thing that people don't understand about visualizing. You may not be visualizing right now because you say in your mind, well, that sounds hocus pocus, or that sounds bullshit. But what you don't understand is that you actually are manifesting, and what you're manifesting is the shit that you look around and call your life. And you've been manifesting that your whole life, and you just aren't aware of it. So if I could give you anything today, it would be to just accept that the shit is real and then start working with it, because the more you deny it, the more you're going to unintentionally manifest negativity and whatever it is you observe growing up, because you're going to think, well, this just is the way that it is. When in reality, it's actually nothing like that. You're just picking that.
So that's powerful to me. Like, yeah, he's very, every word is fuck, but then most of the words out of my mouth are the same. But that like really resonated with me, because it's just such an interesting way to look at visualization. And then Another person that I admire, who a lot of people say is just like a cocky asshole, is MMA fighter Conor McGregor. And yeah, he's a total shit talker, but he can back his shit up. And he's been very outspoken about attributing a lot of his success to manifestation and visualization, and how he uses these processes not only to win fights, but to like uplift his team and treat his people well and take care of everyone who has stood by him. And he makes no apologies for who he is. And I love that. So I'm going to play this short clip where he's being interviewed after winning a fight. And this is a clip from 7 years ago, but he still continues to talk about the power of law of attraction today. And in this clip, the reporter like brings up the fact that in this fight that just took place, before the fight, Conor predicted every move that was going to take place. Like, he visualized the entire fight in his head, and what he visualized happened play for play in this fight. And so the reporter asks him, like, how did you do that? And this is his response.
How do you do that? How do you predict these
if
things?
you can see it here and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen. So I see these shots, I see these sequences, and I don't shy away from them. A lot of times people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. If you truly believe in it, if you become vocal with it, you are creating that law of attraction and it will become reality. I knew he would overextend.
So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, and I really needed to hear both of those, I think, too, because especially Andy Frisella, because with me doing this podcast, like, I've had multiple people make comments like, oh, it's cool what you're doing, but like, it's totally contradicting your law of attraction stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not. Like, if I were up here bitching and complaining and like letting it ruin my life, yeah, but I'm not. Like, this is coming from a place of passion where, like, I'm here to wake people up so collectively we can manifest a better world for my kids, And so it's all about like that feeling too, and like letting shit control you or you control it. And so like hearing Andy Frisella, I'm like, yeah, he's absolutely right. And like, that's, kind of how I feel. And I think there's this misconception that people that are into the law of attraction, kind of like what you were saying earlier, it's all Zen and like you're some hippie chick sitting on the top of a mountain meditating or something. And that's just not the reality. You can still manifest your life and create your reality and be a real person and, move forward with things that you're passionate about. And it doesn't necessarily have to be rainbows and butterflies all the time. So yeah, that was inspiring, Tara. I like those examples. Another inspiring story is J.Lo, Jennifer Lopez. So I think the reason why this inspired me is, again, like, she's another person that didn't come from money. She grew up in the Bronx and worked her ass off to become not just an A-list actress, but also, a huge singer. And here is a clip of how she uses the law of attraction principles with her kids.
Affirmations that I do. And I've done affirmations for a long time. I believe that how you think, and I teach my kids this, your thoughts create your life. And so you have to think positive thoughts all the time. You have to force yourself to think positive thoughts at times. And so I do a lot of different affirmations. I'm open and receptive to all the goodness and abundance the universe has to offer.
So with like the affirmations and stuff in that interview, she like was talking all about how she like everything she does with that, she teaches to her kids. And something interesting that I have found time and time again is that the wealthy, successful, elite class, they teach their kids this stuff. And if you look at some of these like prestigious private schools, they teach this kind of thing, and they might not call it manifestation or law of attraction, but they're teaching them that they are not victims and that they create their reality, and they give them these leadership skills so they can be the leader of their life, which is exactly what the law of attraction is. And you never see this in like public schools, and you don't see the middle class teaching their kids this because they weren't taught this. And there's this whole idea, again, like it's woo woo and, that's not real. But the reality is, like, everyone out there that you admire that is mega successful, they know this, they use it, and whether they call it the law of attraction or not, it is a part of their life. It is embedded in who they are, and it is what made them an industry leader. So you better believe I'm teaching my kids this stuff too.
Yeah. And like speaking of actors, Stephanie, another actor who's been very outspoken about his belief in law of attraction and how it impacted his career is Jim Carrey. And he came from, very similar circumstances and background. And I'm going to play a short clip from an interview that he did 4 years ago.
Total believer. Yeah, I believe in manifestation. I believe in putting a rocket of desire out into the universe, and you get it when you believe it. You get it when you believe you have it, and that's the key. Is like people still they sit around going, "When's it going to come? When's it going to come? When's it going to come? When's it going to come?" And that's the wrong way. You're facing the wrong way. You're facing away from it. You have to go. It's here. It's here. It's here.
It's our intent.
Oops. Okay. So that's very similar to like what Oprah was saying earlier. And then another person that I have honestly really started to admire, I always liked him as an actor, but it kind of like stopped there. But recently I've really started to like Matthew McConaughey because he has like stepped into the public world, not just as an actor, but as like a huge proponent of self-development. And I recently got his book called Green Lights, which is actually a couple years old. And I'm going to start reading that after I finish the very lengthy Tony Robbins book I'm reading, which is Awaken the Giant Within. And it's like, I don't know, 1,000 pages. And I'm basically a third of the way through it. But I'm really excited to read McConaughey's book because he has been like totally outspoken about his belief in manifesting your dreams. And I found this clip from a couple years ago where he talks about a list of 10 goals that he wrote down, and they all came true like later in life.
I found this when I was writing the book. I found it in my diaries. I remember when I wrote this. I wrote this I was in the top bunk of my fraternity house at college. And I was about to go to bed, and I wrote this out. 2 weeks into film and Days Confused, and I never looked at it again. I forgot about it. But here I find it, however many years later, and I look at it and I go, son of a bitch, you have achieved or are in the midst of achieving all 10 of those. So obviously you actually didn't forget you wrote it, did you, Matthew? But I never looked at it again until I found it when I was writing the book. 10 goals in life, September the 1st, 1992. Number 1, become a father. Number 2, find and keep the woman for me. Number 3, keep my relationship with God. Number 4, chase my best self. Number 5, be an egotistical utilitarian. Number 6, take more risks. Number 7, stay close to mom and family. Number 8, win an Oscar for Best Actor. Number 9, look back and enjoy the view. Number 10, just keep living.
So that's like really powerful, right? Like it's
Yep.
kind of, there's this like, I don't know what the word is, dichotomy maybe between different beliefs and manifestation. And, there's the belief that you have to just, if you want to manifest something, you have to think about it every day and visualize it every day and do your affirmations every day. And then you have like this, clip from him and the clip you played earlier from Oprah, where you declare it and then you let it go.
Yeah. I think that's a huge part of it. I think if you're really focused on things every day, that could be a good thing, right? But what happens so often is people aren't focused, they're obsessed. And it's like, I'm not going to be happy unless this happens. And there's like more sort of like negative feelings and all this stress and pressure that's entangled in it. So you just keep manifesting more stress and pressure. And,
Yes.
It's like you got to just have that trust and that belief and that faith that you're putting it out there and like let the universe figure out how it's going to happen. And clearly it works. Like it's worked for me multiple times in my life. It's worked for all of these celebrities. And oh my gosh, Matthew McConaughey, I could listen to him all day long. Like he is amazing. I thought he was going to run for office because he was getting kind of like into politics. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that would be so amazing because he's got like a way with people. And I think he could be someone that like unites everyone for sure.
Yeah, he did this interview recently with Dean Gracio, and he was talking about, his books and his career. And it really struck a chord with me because I will admit I have been in that desperate mode lately of like really feeling like I need my manifestations to happen. And so of course they're not happening because I'm coming from a place of lack. And this podcast was amazing because he was talking about how, when he was trying to manifest roles as an actor and he was coming from that very needy place, and a friend pulled him aside and was like, hey dude, like, you need to go on vacation, go travel Europe for a couple months and come back when you feel like you don't need this shit in your life anymore. And so he actually listened to the guy, and that's what he did. And when he came back, he had a whole different vibe, and he wasn't going into interviews with agents from this, you got to hire me perspective. He just went in like super chill and relaxed and like, shit's going to come to me if it comes to me. And, he ends up having this outstanding and amazing career. So I think that's something that I have to constantly remind myself of, is that let go and make my declarations, let go and trust in the universe.
And take a vacation.
Yeah.
Because that is so true. I feel like every time I've come back from a good vacation, I have had like crazy shit manifest in my life. So that's a good reminder for me to go and book something because I haven't been on vacation in a while. So yeah, I mean, everyone listening, like you've got to just be open-minded with it. And if you are a skeptic, like I know plenty of skeptics, it's like, okay, that's fine, but how is that helping you? Like all you're doing is hurting yourself by being so closed off from this possibility. And what happens if you just let your guard down? Just let it down for a week and see how it goes, like see what changes in your life as a result of that. And again, like if there's all these examples, and these are just a few examples, there are a ton of examples, then there's got to be something to it. So I hope it encourages everyone to just, give manifestation a chance, like learn a little bit about the law of attraction, implement some of these practices. And, I mean, it could change your life. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work. Best case scenario, you manifest your dreams. So go give it a shot this week, and we will see you back here on Weird Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you get our latest episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you could, please rate and review the show. We are going to be reading every single review, and I would love it if you hopped over to Instagram at Unapologetically Outspoken and say hi. We want to see who's out there and start a conversation, plus get all of the topics that you want us to talk about next. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.